Today is not a normal day, and I don't say that lightly. What's happening in the sky right now, most people will scroll right past it. But if you're watching this, you're not most people. March 18th, today, and I'm not talking about some minor shift you'll scroll past on an astrology meme page. What's lining up in the sky on this single day is the kind of thing that, when you look back months from now, you'll point to and say, that's when everything changed. But here's what I need you to understand right away. You're already inside this energy. It didn't just arrive this morning. It's been building underneath you for days, like pressure in a fault line, and you've probably been feeling it without having a name for it. That restlessness, that strange hunger, that pull towards something you haven't let yourself say out loud yet. That's not random. That's the sky. And if you've been caught between two very different impulses lately, one part of you itching to break free, go after what you want, stop holding back, and another part desperately wanting to feel safe, rooted, held. I promise you, I'm going to explain exactly why that's happening. But let me give you the full picture first, because this story has a few layers. The two planets at the center of all of this are Venus and Jupiter. And in astrology, these are literally called the benefics, the good guys. Venus is the lesser benefic. She rules love, desire, beauty, and what you truly value. Jupiter is the greater benefic. He rules expansion, faith, abundance, and opportunity. When these two connect in the sky, it's usually treated as a positive event, and today they are connecting. But not the way you'd hope. They're forming a square, a 90-degree angle. That's friction. That's tension. And I know that sounds like bad news, but stay with me here, because this is actually the key to the whole thing. When two destructive forces collide, you get damage. But when two fundamentally generous forces collide, you get pressure. And pressure, when it finally releases, creates an overflow. Think of a dam that's been holding back months of water. The moment it breaks, everything rushes through at once. That's what I believe is happening today. The dam breaks. And what floods through is what you've been waiting for. But whether that flood works for you or overwhelms you, that depends entirely on whether you understand what this square is really asking. Let's start with Venus. Today, she's sitting at 15 degrees of Aries. And if you know your astrology, you know Venus isn't exactly at home there. Aries is ruled by Mars. It's blunt, self-directed, fast, and unapologetic. Venus, in her natural state, is diplomatic. She softens. She harmonizes. She waits for the right moment. Not in Aries. Venus in Aries doesn't hint. She doesn't shrink. She sees what she wants, and she walks straight toward it without asking permission. And right now, that's what the universe is asking you to do. Stop softening your desires to make other people comfortable. Stop adding disclaimers every time you say what you actually want. Stop waiting for some perfect conditions that, let's be honest, were never coming. Here's the detail that really stops me, though. Venus entered Aries on March 6th, and when she did, she crossed 0 degrees Aries, the exact same degree where Saturn and Neptune formed their historic conjunction back in February. That was one of the most significant alignments of the year. It was about dissolving outdated structures and building something real in their place. When Venus walked through that degree, she absorbed that energy. She carried it forward. So this isn't just Venus chasing a thrill. This is Venus asking you to fundamentally redefine what you value, what you think you deserve, what kind of life you're actually willing to claim for yourself. That's a much bigger conversation than most people realize is happening right now. Now, on the other side of this square, we have Jupiter at 15 degrees of Cancer. And this is where things get genuinely exciting, because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. That means he's not just present. He's operating at full power. He's an honored guest here, with access to everything he needs to do his best work. Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's water, it's emotion, it's home, roots, family, the feeling of belonging somewhere. And Jupiter moving through this sign isn't asking you to hustle harder or force your way into abundance. He's asking you to become so internally nourished, so genuinely rooted in yourself, that opportunities start finding you rather than the other way around. Here's the piece that I think most people are completely missing. Jupiter stationed direct on March 10th. Just 8 days ago, he had been retrograde for 5 months, moving backward through Cancer, pressing you to re-examine your emotional foundations, your home life, your relationship with family, your capacity to actually take care of yourself. And now he's moving forward again. When a planet changes direction, it stations. And at that moment, it concentrates all of its energy onto one specific point like a laser. So Jupiter right now is exalted, freshly direct, and extraordinarily potent. Anything related to home, family, emotional healing, building community, or inner security that has been stalled since last autumn, I genuinely believe it's about to lurch forward with serious force. Now you can feel the tension I was describing at the start. Venus in Aries is almost shouting, I want what I want. I want to be free, independent, bold, no more waiting, no more apologizing. Jupiter in Cancer is much quieter, but equally insistent. But you need to feel safe. You need to know you're held. You need emotional ground beneath your feet. These two are in a square. They're not agreeing. They're pulling in opposite directions. And if you've been feeling that internal tug of war lately, between going after something boldly and protecting what you have, that's not confusion. That's not weakness. You are physically feeling a 90-degree planetary angle in your nervous system. Here's the realization that changed how I think about this. The friction isn't the problem. The friction is the point. Because here's the honest question this square is raising. How many times have you abandoned what you truly wanted just to keep the peace, just to maintain a sense of safety? And on the flip side, how many times have you gone after something so aggressively, so independently, that you burned out or cut off the support systems that could have actually helped you? This square is demanding that you stop doing either of those things. It's asking you to be fiercely, unapologetically yourself, and emotionally grounded at the same time. Not one or the other. Both. And I know that sounds like a contradiction, but I think that's exactly the integration this moment is pushing you toward. Because when you find that balance, when you stop treating desire and security as enemies, that's when the overflow actually happens. Now, I have to tell you about the shadow side, because as beautiful as this energy is, it has a real dark edge, and if you're not watching for it, you will get swept away by it. The most dangerous expression of a Venus-Jupiter square is excess. It's the total abandonment of limits, because both of these planets are essentially whispering more. Venus wants more pleasure, more connection, more beauty, more of everything she loves. Jupiter wants more expansion, more faith, more opportunity, more growth. Stack those two impulses on top of each other with no containment, and things spiral quickly. I'm talking about overspending because the energy feels abundant and you trust it blindly. Overcommitting because you feel magnetic and capable of everything. Promising things to everyone because you want to be generous and the energy supports it. Starting new projects, new relationships, new chapters all at once because it all feels possible. And here's the tricky part. In the moment, every single one of those choices will feel completely justified. The thoughts sound like wisdom. The universe is abundant. I should say yes. I have to seize this now. But if you're already running on empty, if your emotional tank has a hole in it, saying yes to everything doesn't fill you up. It just accelerates the drain. This is exactly why Jupiter in Cancer matters so much here. He's not asking you to expand outward relentlessly. He's reminding you that real abundance, lasting abundance, comes from a place of genuine fullness. You can only pour from a cup that's actually full. So as you move through these next few days, keep coming back to one question. Am I saying yes because this is genuinely aligned with what I need? Or am I saying yes out of fear that if I don't grab it right now, it'll disappear forever? That distinction will make all the difference. Now here's where this gets almost unbelievably loaded, because the Venus-Jupiter square is not happening alone today. Within just a few hours, 3 major astrological events are occurring on the same day. And when I put this together, I genuinely sat back and thought, the universe is making a very deliberate statement. First, around noon, the Venus-Jupiter square perfects. The tension reaches its absolute peak. Then, just 4 hours later, at 4:20 in the afternoon, the Sun forms an exact sextile to Uranus. A sextile is a supportive 60-degree angle, and Uranus is the planet of sudden awakening, innovation, and breakthroughs that arrive from nowhere. So right when the pressure from that square is at its most intense, a window opens. A flash of insight drops in. A solution you never would have thought of on your own suddenly becomes obvious. I think that Sun-Uranus sextile is going to feel like a release valve, like something that's been locked in your mind just unlocks. New possibilities, new pathways, new versions of yourself that aren't trapped in the old patterns. And because it's a sextile, not a forced aspect, you have to reach for it. It's an invitation, not a guarantee. And then, at 9:30 at night, the third and most significant event, a new moon at 28 degrees of Pisces. 28 degrees. That is what astrologers call an anaretic degree. 28 degrees and 29 degrees are the degrees of completion, closure, karmic endings, the very last gasps of a sign before it surrenders. And this particular new moon is at 28 degrees of Pisces, the very last sign of the zodiac, just 2 degrees from the end of the entire astrological wheel. This isn't a new moon that's planting seeds. This is a new moon that's closing a chapter. It's a massive ceremonial ending for the entire astrological year. Everything that needed to be processed, released, completed, this new moon seals it shut. And then just 2 days later, on March 20th, the Sun enters Aries and Mercury stations direct, officially launching the new astrological year. So today, March 18th, is literally the last day of the old cycle, the final threshold before everything resets. The overflow that happens that day isn't just a burst of energy. I believe it's the universe clearing the old debris and loading you up with exactly what you'll need to step into this new chapter. But only if you're paying attention. So what is this actually going to feel like in real life? You might find yourself in a genuine negotiation with yourself. One voice saying, make the bold move, quit, start, tell them how you feel, invest in yourself, go. And another voice immediately responding, but what about stability? What about the people who depend on you? What about your security? You might feel frozen between those two voices, or it might show up in a relationship where one person wants more freedom and the other wants more closeness. And suddenly this tension that's been quietly brewing is demanding to be addressed. The square is forcing the conversation that's been avoided. Or it might be financial. You've been playing it safe, not taking risks, keeping everything protected. And then an opportunity appears that requires a real leap of faith. The Jupiter voice says, this is abundant. This is expansive. Say yes. The Cancer voice says, but we need to protect what we already have. The answer is not to silence either voice. The answer is to find the synthesis. What's the version of this bold move that still honors my need for a foundation? What's the leap I can take that doesn't require me to burn everything down? I'm going to build as I go. That's the integration. And yes, it's harder than just choosing one, but it's also the only path that lasts. After today, things start moving fast. Today is going to feel charged, possibly overwhelming. A lot of emotion, a lot of realizations, a lot of things coming to the surface all at once. And then March 20th arrives. The Sun enters Aries, Mercury goes direct, and it's like a starting gunfires. Everything that crystallized on the 18th starts manifesting. Conversations that needed to happen finally do. Things that have been stuck for months suddenly unstick. Opportunities that were on hold open up. Projects with stalled momentum suddenly surge forward. I genuinely believe the weeks that follow this portal are going to be some of the most kinetic, fastest moving, most transformative of the entire year. But this cuts both ways. If you use today wisely, if you get honest about what you want, plant the right intentions, make decisions from a grounded place, the results will come quickly. And if you overpromise, overextend, or act recklessly from depletion, that also manifests quickly. So be real with yourself, be boundaried. The energy will amplify whatever you put into it. Practically speaking, here's how I'd approach today. First, protect your time and space. Don't overpack that day. Give yourself quiet, especially in the evening around the new moon. You want to be clear-headed when you set your intentions, not frazzled. Second, get brutally honest about what you actually want, not what's practical, not what other people expect from you. What do you desire right now? Venus in Aries doesn't want you to whisper it. She wants you to claim it. Write it down. Say it out loud. Own it. Third, ask yourself, how can I pursue this desire in a way that also honors my need to feel safe? Don't pick one. Find the version that holds both. That's the synthesis this moment is building toward. Fourth, pay close attention in the afternoon hours. That Sun-Uranus sextile could drop a breakthrough directly into your lap. An idea, a connection, a sudden reframe that changes everything. Don't dismiss it. Write it down. Sit with it. And fifth, use the new moon to close as much as to begin. What chapter is genuinely done? What pattern, what story, what version of yourself is ready to be released? Honor it, thank it, and let it go. Then, and only then, set your intentions for what you're building next. If you've been feeling that pressure these past few days, if you've been wrestling with these exact tensions between what you want and what feels safe, between boldness and groundedness, between expanding and protecting, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not confused. You are not broken. You are not doing anything wrong. You are feeling exactly what you're supposed to feel right now. The universe is asking you to grow into someone who doesn't have to choose between fierce and soft, bold and secure, free and connected. Someone who holds all of it at once. That's hard work. It's uncomfortable. But the version of you waiting on the other side of March 20th, the one who finally stopped shrinking, stopped choosing fear, stopped fragmenting herself, that version is worth every bit of discomfort this portal brings. If this landed for you and you want to keep going deeper into what's happening in the sky, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps me keep making this content and getting it in front of people who need it. And leave me a comment below. Have you been feeling this building? Where is this tension between independence and security showing up in your life right now? I read every single comment, and I mean it when I say your experiences matter here. We're all moving through this together. Take good care of yourself today and over these next few days. I'll see you in the next one.